YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back, and today we got a very interesting video for you guys. Going through every single NFL team, and I'm going to pick that player of the long-term future for that team, but also would be worthy of a real long-term contract, a very long-term contract. Kind of it's inspired here by the Patrick Mahomes 10-year contract extension, trying to think every team, who's next? No one's going to get that money, but who's next for that 10-year, whether it's 8-year, no matter what it is, they're a long-term deal. Pretty cool to try to pick a guy from each NFL team here. So I'm going to really enjoy this one. Hopefully you guys enjoy it and kind of can play along in the comments. But how do you fit this profile? What's the criteria here? A future talent for sure for each team. I'm thinking 6 to 10 years. So over 5 years down the line, you have to be that talented, in my opinion. Obviously, a prediction for every single one of these. We're predicting the future. If there's a few options, which some teams definitely do have a few options here, and I only pick one, maybe I lean towards the guy that, around 10 years. They fit that profile around 10 years down the line. Those guys get some bonus points maybe. They also have to be worthy of a long-term deal. You have to feel comfortable giving them, maybe they just even got a long-term deal, maybe even adding on top of that. You have to be comfortable with that. I use no rookies here. I think that's too easy to use rookies, kind of cheap. They also haven't really played yet, so I know some people don't like me including rookies. So I thought, let's leave the rookies out. Let's get at least some guys that are young and proven, cool to see. And I did not use Patrick Mahomes. This was inspired by Patrick Mahomes' deal. He just got his 10-year deal, and it's actually 12 years total because he's got 2 more years. So, I thought that'd be kind of cheap, too easy, to use him. So it kind of left him off. And at the end of this video, I'll kind of pick the top 10 that fit this profile the best at the very end. So Mahomes, so we're clear, is, I guess, the idea, the poster child of this type of video because he just got the 10-year deal and he would be ranked first. Chiefs fans, I used your second best option in my opinion. I think you can handle it. You just won the Super Bowl. You have the best player in football. If he keeps it up, he could be the best player of all time. So I think he can handle it here. Let the other fans kind of have their moment here. We're sick of seeing Mahomes number one. I'm really not sick of it because he's that good. But you get my point. Please subscribe. 60K is our goal by week 1 of the NFL. So please help us out. I think that's very doable there. So really appreciate the support. Subscribe to both channels. Follow that Twitter. We got polls. We got all kinds of NFL content and more. And then we have a podcast as well. Link in the description, comments, anything that you may need. Let's start with the Cardinals. Pretty easy choice here. I went Kyler Murray, only 22 years old right now. So, if we're even looking 10 years down the line, he's going to be 32, which is right around quarterback prime. I guess the question here is, you do need the right system for Kyler Murray. So I guess he does need the right coaches there. So how long will the coaches last, the current coaches? So it's a lot of predicting of the future, but obviously you expect him to get more and more talented as he gets older, as he develops to the NFL. So maybe not as easy of a choice. It's pretty easy, but maybe not as easy of a choice as you would think. I guess because there are some good young talented players, but again, I wasn't using rookies, but I do want to really get it out there that I'm a big Isaiah Simmons fan. He's going to be a rookie, but I think it's a bright spot of the future as well. Given that I didn't want to use rookies, I guess Kyler Murray was the pretty obvious choice. For the Falcons, I actually went with Calvin Ridley, only 25 years old right now. Yeah, maybe 10 years down the line, maybe 35 is getting kind of up there. But I think this is the key here. Obviously, first off, it's a guy that's going to continue to get better. We expect more of a breakout season this year. Very good route runner. Seems like he's getting better with his craft. Big playability downfield. But I think the main thing here, why Calvin Ridley for long-term talent plus long-term contract, like real long-term, why he'd be worthy, is because Julio Jones isn't going to last a whole much longer. Ridley's. We expect Julio can definitely play for some time, but we're talking way down the line here. Ridley's learning from Julio Jones, and he's going to take over that big-time #1 receiver that's that important for the Atlanta Falcons. So that was kind of the key to use Calvin Ridley there for the Falcons. For the Ravens, very obvious choice. We'll see him in the top 10 at the very end for sure. Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, just think about it. He's 23 now, so he was 22 during the regular season last year. The 22-year-old just won the MVP, the NFL MVP, with that crazy of a season. A guy that, according to a bunch of idiots, couldn't throw the ball. He needs to be a receiver or more of a weapon. ridiculous. That guy at 22 years old just won the MVP, just had a dominant season, proved that he can throw the ball. That's kind of the good thing though, because you rank Lamar Jackson towards the top of the quarterbacks, but you stack him up with, you know, the Patrick Mahomes, the Russell Wilson, you know, those guys, but yeah, do have the better arm, you know, maybe arm strength and more accuracy. But that's kind of the good thing, that Lamar Jackson can actually grow, and I believe that he will grow in that category. And at only 23 years old, I mean, push him 10 years down the line, 33. You know, this guy should be getting it together. I guess the only concern is if he runs a ton, you know, does he develop wear or anything? It's not really a guy that's shown me that he's going to, you know, maybe he won't last until he, you know, Tom Brady, you know, length, but you know, it's a guy that showed me his toughness, and I don't really see anything to tell me that he's just not going to last because of that, because he's such a good runner. You know, it's kind of silly. The Bills, another good one here. Tremaine Edmonds, only 22 years old, the inside linebacker. If you remember my draft coverage back when Edmonds was in the draft, I was very high on him. This is an absolute freak, kind of a one-of-a-kind guy. You know, do-it-all guy, freakish size and athleticism combination of the two, and so young. And we you know, I talk about it all the time. You know, Tremaine Edmonds, you know, I liked him, you know, right then, you know, how he played then, but it's a guy that, you know, definitely could struggle early on because he's so raw, you know, so young, but will be a beast in the future. But he's already balling out, which really isn't a surprise to me, but most expected him to kind of, you know, take a bit. But he's already playing at a very high level, only 22 years old, and a guy that I think will last a long time in this league. So I think it was, even though the Bills got quite a few good options there. You know, they got Josh Allen, their quarterback. I mean, Stephon Diggs is still kind of young there. You know, but I think Tremaine Edmonds, you know, even though it's kind of, there's a lot of options, I thought it was kind of easy to choose Tremaine Edmonds here. Definitely one of the future. Moving on, we got the Panthers. We got DJ Moore. Maybe a little bold here. I didn't go to Christian McCaffrey, who's, you know, just right around the same age, you know, 24. And he just got his big contract. You know, I guess the question with Christian McCaffrey, which I believe in him, obviously, he can do so much. He's today's NFL's, you know, not just running back, football player, and where the NFL is heading. You know, he's going to be used, and he's going to be great for a long time. It's just, you know, how much, I guess you question, like, how long he'll last. Not that I'm doubting him. It's just, you know, where it could start to develop. You know, how much, basically the load that he's carrying for the Panthers that he'll need to carry. That's why I went DJ Moore. A little younger here, age 23. You know, this is kind of a do-it-all receiver, too. A guy that's going to fit any system if the system changes there. You know, I guess it's a video more about the player, so he could be on any of these guys could be on a different team, you know, 6 to 10 years down the line. But a guy that I think easily is a plug-and-play in any type of system, and I think he obviously is going to continue to get better. I think this guy could be really at his best ball, you know, 28 years old, around there. So I went with DJ Moore. It may surprise some, but if you really think about it, I think it's a good choice here. The Bears went with Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson does have somewhat of an injury concern. You know, coming out of Alabama, I thought he was a first-round talent, but yeah, I understood that he wasn't going to go first round. I didn't peg him as a first-rounder because, yeah, he had some major injuries back then. And then we've seen him miss a couple games here and there for the Bears as well. But this is an extremely good talent, you know, a playmaker in the back end, which you definitely need in today's NFL too, with, you know, all these, you know, high, you know, air raid offenses almost we're going towards. Not quite, you know, only a couple of them that'll do that. But, you know, everyone's airing it out like crazy. So you need these playmakers in the back end that can pretty much do it all. So Eddie Jackson being only 25, and you see the second he steps in, he's already, you know, instantly good. So it's scary to think he actually can get better. It was a tough one, though. Roquan Smith could be an option, inside linebacker that should last a long time, only 23 years old. It was tough not going Roquan Smith. It's kind of a toss-up there for the Bears. Moving on to the Bengals. Again, no rookies. You know, otherwise we probably could use Joe Burrow. Joe Mixon there, though, at only age 23. And I did use some running backs, you know, in this video, but it's a little tough, a little bold going running backs because they don't last that long. You know, that's how the running backs are, and that's why teams don't put a lot of money into them. Only 23 years old, though. I think there's plenty of, you know, fresh legs left, you know, for him to last a very long time. I think he fits today in the future's NFL. I think the Bengals with these young guys are just really getting going here. So we haven't really seen Joe Mixon. He's going to start to really get going, you know, as he gets older there, you know, where some guys might be in their best around this age in terms of running back position. So went with Joe Mixon there. And they do have other couple options too. A lot of young guys, there for them. Even looking at Jesse Bates, their safety could be a good option. The Browns, pretty easy one with Myles Garrett, only 24 years old, and you can actually argue right now that you can argue, I'm not saying he is, that he is the best pass rusher in the NFL at age 24. Freakish dude. Didn't really get to see a whole bunch of them at Texas A&M. That's what some people were like. He didn't really rack up a whole bunch of sacks. He missed some games. He kind of sat out to kind of just stay safe in the NFL. Some people didn't really like that. Basically he's got some fresh legs still. He's got there's no wear there on those tires. So a lot of room for improvement, a lot of years left for Myles Garrett, even though he's already one of the top pass rushers in football. So that was a pretty easy choice. Cowboys, even though at age 26, which maybe is a little older than some of these guys so far, Dak Prescott being a quarterback, talk about quarterback prime. I mean, you can make a case. It's a pretty big range. You can see it around age. I mean, I think it's dropping a little bit. Some of these young quarterbacks are really taking over, but the best of the best quarterbacks the last several years, it's kind of been, at least 30, even pushing 34-ish, prime quarterback age. Dak Prescott, already with the experience, already with the good play, almost looked like he improved last year at age 26, get a better kind of an offensive mind coach, and Mike McCarthy now too, 26 years old. So we're still about 4 years, maybe today's NFL is a little younger. So we'll call it 3 years away from entering his prime there, which is pretty darn scary. So definitely got to go Dak Prescott here for the Cowboys. The Broncos, another tough one. It's kind of a good situation there because I really considered Courtland Sutton, who was one of my draft hits. Really like Courtland Sutton, the same age as Bradley Chubb here. But I went with Bradley Chubb just because he was my number one prospect a few years ago. He's a big-time pass rusher. I still think he's pretty fresh. They sat him out last year, and I'm not really worried about an injury coming up. That's kind of the only concern, but I'm not really worried about an injury coming up long-term. But we look at pass rushers when they're really dominant. Again, maybe the age, the prime age for pass rushers is it's decreasing maybe. But I mean, you look at like a guy like Cam Jordan dominating as he's getting older. I mean, there's a lot of guys like that over the last several years there. But Bradley Chubb, yeah, only 24. I think he could be in his prime when he's entering maybe 29, 30, and that could be pretty darn scary, especially given that a lot of us predicted him to be strictly a 4-3 end. Broncos play 3-4. They get him in there, so it's not too much of a little bit of adjustment. He's already adjusting to that, so the more time, the better. Obviously, the better he gets, and that kind of goes along with being young, but obviously also kind of learning. It's pretty much the same position, but I guess getting him more athletic, I think, is what they're doing a good job as and what they're going to continue to do. So I want Bradley Chubb there. And I guess given the pass rusher, how important top-tier pass rush is, after you look at quarterback, pass protection, and pass rush, maybe the most important game-changing things in football. The Lions went with Kenny Golladay, 26 years old. This guy is getting better and better by the year. It's definitely a receiver I see lasting a very long time, in my opinion. Long contested catcher, but very athletic too. So yeah, I do expect him to definitely last well into his 30s. And it's a guy that the Lions definitely could be locking up, becoming a free agent soon. Which that doesn't really, that's really not why he's on the video. But I think he's just a long-term, really good option here for the Lions, making his way, I think, now inside the top 10 receivers, and can continue to push further than that. So I went Kenny Golladay here for the Lions. The Packers, another tough one because the Packers got quite a few guys here that are still pretty young. The bunch of options. But Kenny Clark was probably the next option, still young, still one of the better nose tackles in football, and you expect him to last, quite a long time. But Jair Alexander only being 23 years old, I think cornerback prime is early in the 30s there, maybe even like 32. So we're still a ways from that, and he's still he's already, I should say, a top-tier playmaking corner. So we're perhaps kind of leaning towards getting that way. And that's pretty impressive, only being 23 years old. So I think, the fact that, to add on top of that, I think it's sketchy taking first-round corners sometimes. A lot of times they don't really work. They're, a lot of them, play a lot and they're good, but, where you take them for being corners, you expect them to be outstanding. And I think the fact that the Packers found a really good one that's still young here is good, and they're kind of safe in that aspect for a long time because of it. So I think that helped me choose him as well. They don't really have to worry about that, number one corner for a long time because they actually got that hit in the first round there. To the Texans, very obvious one. We'll be seeing this guy in the top 10 at the end of the video. Deshaun Watson, only 24 years old. You know, a winner at Clemson, and he's trying to bring that to Houston, but he's getting Houston the playoffs obviously already. You know, I think this guy's continuing to get better. You know, some people doubted him. Will he be able to do what he did in college in the NFL? And he still makes those clutch plays and continues to be a winner. You know, so I think he's going to continue to get better, despite, you know, maybe people not happy where the Texans are at. You know, I think he definitely will continue to get better. Learning the NFL offense is obviously another year in there. Only 24 years old. We talked about it. Quarterback prime. You know, in the past, it's been that 30 to 35 range. You know, maybe it's decreasing a little bit, but either way, only 24 years old. He's not even really close to where that prime should be. That is the very scary thing there for Deshaun Watson. The Colts, another obvious one with Darius Leonard, only 24. Great thing about Darius Leonard is he really wasn't supposed to be anywhere near this good. But mainly, there's a lot of guys like that. A lot of guys every single year, as far back as it goes, there's a lot of guys. This guy wasn't supposed to be that good. That's really not the thing. I think how good he was right away. You know, you look at the tape. You know, college versus the NFL right away, it just looked almost like a totally different person. And that's pretty scary, given that he was that good right away. He still got some, you know, small school guy, still got some things to learn there, only being 24. So pretty scary that Darius Leonard, only 24 years old, definitely a guy that will be locked up for sure soon. Jaguars went with Josh Allen. Actually, DJ Chark could be another option as well, only 23 for him, and he really just broke out this past year. But Josh Allen, you know, how important really good pass rushers are, the game changers. And this is a freak of a pass rusher, obviously getting better and better every single year we expect him to. I mean, he's right on par with Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa gets all the praise, too, for the San Francisco 49ers, as he deserves, but Josh Allen should get some more as well. You know, they definitely hit on an athletic pass rusher here. You know, and the Jaguars are kind of revamping that defense, trying to get it back to where it was. So, and they're able to do that because Josh Allen, the versatility, I think, you know, they can be a 4-3, they can be a 3-4, you know, because he's that versatile of a pass rusher and that impactful of a pass rusher. The Chiefs, like I said in the beginning of the video, I wasn't going to use Patrick Mahomes because it was too easy of an option. He just got the 10-year plus the 2 he already had, you know, contract. Extension, so I talked about that in the beginning of the video. But it's actually kind of tough choosing another one, not using rookies as well. But Tyreek Hill, 26, still felt comfortable with that. You know, I don't think the speed's really going to go away. You know, some people might argue that. Some people might think he's going to get, as he gets older, he loses some speed. And that's kind of the case, but that's when you're pushing well into the 30s, I think, for this freaky of a guy. You know, it's not like we're going to worry about his size or weight or if he's going to get too strong. You know, I don't think we're not going to worry about that where he'll you know, start to lose some speed all of a sudden. You know, he's in the right shape. There's no threat of him getting bigger to weigh him down maybe. You know, scary thing is, you know, he actually can get faster. You know, I've seen guys definitely get faster as they get to like 28 range, 29. You know, after that, I don't expect the guys to get any faster, but I've definitely we've seen that plenty of times. So I expect this guy to continue to get faster. Then, you know, he kind of made this role of his off his speed, and speed kills in today's NFL, but so that given that, he can actually improve as a receiver, even though he's a fine one, a great route runner. You know, so the scary thing, he actually can improve down the line. So yeah, Mahomes would be the first choice. Didn't want to use Mahomes in this video because he's kind of what inspired it. So I went with Tyreek Hill here. We'll see if they can extend him, given that they did spend a lot of money on Mahomes. Going to be interesting to see. Chargers, Derwin James, you know, only 23. You know, I think a pretty easy one, but they do have Joey Bosa as well. But I think definitely Derwin James, you know, today's type of safety, people starting to kind of devalue the safety position, but then really value the guys that can do everything. And Derwin James is a good definition of a safety that can do everything, along with a couple other ones. But only 23. You know, he can play free, strong, play him in the box, play him in the line, send him at the quarterback, you know, can do everything there. So I think it's safe as long as he's healthy. This guy's a long-term great option for the Chargers. The Rams, I went with Jalen Ramsey. A couple other guys you can go with, even, you know, safety Taylor Rapp. I think only 22 you can go with. I'm a big Taylor Rapp fan in terms of his potential. But Jalen Ramsey only 25. You know, I think we're all in agreement that right now, like given what they've just done, Stephon Gilmore is the best corner in football. But, you know, if we all like take a look at the talent, what they're capable of, Jalen Ramsey definitely could be. You can make the case for him being the best corner in football, and that's crazy given, you know, the time he's missed. Sometimes he's sat out, and being only age 25, and then the discussion about him playing safety or corner. Not because you didn't, you know, will he not be able to play this position? It's not one of those cases because he's that good at both of them. Pretty crazy. And he would probably be one of those safeties they can do everything with. But a lockdown corner with tremendous talent, just stay on the field, get the contract signed here, and that is the option for the Rams. For the Raiders, one with Josh Jacobs, hesitant to go running back sometimes, but I think he's got plenty. He's got the fresh legs. There's no wear concerns for Josh Jacobs. He's only 22 years old because, remember at Alabama, they used a bunch of different running backs, and all of a sudden this Jacobs guy, where is this guy coming from? That's kind of what it felt. It was one of those situations there for Alabama. So, yeah, I think it's a perfect example of the running backs that belong on this list. Only 22 years old. I know they hit on a guy like Max Crosby last year, so that could be another option there. But Josh Jacobs, I thought was a pretty easy choice for them, just because, I love those running backs that you can trust, that they're fresh. They're ready to go for a long time. They're only 22 years old. Dolphins actually had a tough one, given how young they are. But a lot of the young guys were rookies. Again, I wasn't including rookies. I actually went with a 27-year-old here. We've seen a lot of younger ages. I still consider 27 young, but Byron Jones, and why Byron Jones is because this was, again, a few years ago, maybe a little more than a few years ago, but an athletic freak guy. Maybe he won't be that great right away, but down the line he will be great, and he's been better than expected, but he still has upside, and because of that, but because don't forget he actually played safety, and he was a pretty good safety, but let's move him to corner, and right away, right out the gate, dominant at corner. I think his prime is still way ahead of him. That's a great thing here, and I think cornerback prime could be in the 30s, sometimes even well in the 30s, not like 37 or anything, not 10 years down the line, but Byron Jones is a different guy. It's a different guy with a lot. His best ball is still well ahead of him, and he's already good. He's an athletic freak as well, so that's why I want Byron Jones. It is tough to maybe put a guy that's 27 up there, but I felt good about this one for the Dolphins. The Vikings, definitely Danielle Hunter here, only 25 years old and improving. You look at him at LSU, 2.5 career sacks, and already top of the NFL in sacks every single year here for the Vikings, getting better and better. He was an athletic freak, strong athletic freak right out the gate. They taught him the pass rush traits, and he's really developing. That's why it's a scary dude right here. So he's definitely a guy that's going to continue to get better. A guy that his prime definitely could be, around 30 to 32 range possibly, which is pretty crazy. So I thought it was an easy choice there for the Vikings. Patriots, offensive lineman here, I went Shaq Mason. Crazy that Shaq Mason's only 26, one of the better guards in football. And Joe Tooney's 27, so you could go with Tooney as well. Well, Mason here, this guy's an absolute beast, a lot of upside here. Maybe he's one of those guys that, some guys leave the Patriots, they're not as good, so hopefully he stays with the Patriots, but it's definitely a guy I believe in. He's an absolute beast. They found a gem here. 26 years old. Some of these offensive linemen, especially the guys that are better, if they're run blockers, they last quite a bit, actually. Well into their 30s, so, I think it's a promising guy of the future here. And we got the Saints. I actually went with Alvin Kamara here. Michael Thomas, 27. Definitely, everything about Michael Thomas tells me, he's still getting better too, but he tells me he's going to be good well into his 30s. So I almost wanted to go Michael Thomas, but maybe I went a little bold here going Alvin Kamara. But the reason, my type of running backs here for the future, go back to Tennessee. I was very high on this guy at Tennessee. Another thing that was so crazy and why maybe some people weren't high on him is because we didn't see a whole bunch of them. It was kind of flashes here and there. It's because I'm not really sure what Tennessee was doing, but they weren't really using him anywhere near as much as they should have been using him. And that means he's pretty fresh still. And, they were pretty careful with him last year. I know he was, and that's kind of the concern because he's a little beat up, maybe something minor last year, So that's why maybe some people will be hesitant about this, but I think he's got plenty of tread on the tires still there long term. And it's for sure today's type of back and the future's type of back with his receiving ability. So I think easy choice probably be Michael Thomas, even though 10 years down the line he'd be 37, but it wouldn't shock me if he's still balling out by close to around there. But only 24 for Alvin Kamara, and I definitely expect him to be balling out in his 30s as long as he's healthy there. And then to the Giants, pretty obvious, go Saquon Barkley. Even Daniel Jones could be an option too. That's pretty crazy, but Saquon Barkley only 23. And another guy they've been safe with. Any minor injury, he wants to play. They hold him out. It's smart. He's a running back. It's very smart. This guy's going to break loose at any time. And we've seen, a guy that he was getting comparisons, maybe a little bit different type of game, much better in terms of catching the ball downfield, but still getting the comparisons to Adrian Peterson because, coming out, because we haven't really seen a guy this freaky in terms of his build and the athletic ability combined with that, the freaky strength, combined with all that. So that's why he was kind of, getting those, somewhat comparisons. And you see how long Adrian Peterson lasted just because of his build. He was kind of born to be that football player, that freaky guy to last that long. And then Barkley definitely can be the next guy. Definitely can see it. So he falls under the category of those running backs as well. For the Jets, went with Jamal Adams. Maybe some people would go Sam. It's a little awkward going Jamal Adams because he's refusing to play. He wants to trade. He wants the contract. Then he'll play. Some people could go Sam Darnold. I definitely got to go Jamal Adams, though. There's a video more about the player, so maybe he's not on the Jets anymore in the future, but we'll see. But kind of like Derwin James, that do-it-all safety. You're going to get some good football from this guy, no matter where you put him. It's not a safety that's all of a sudden just not going to be good. It's like no chance. There's like no chance of that. Only 24 years old. Was a top prospect in the draft a few years ago. And I think he's just getting going. Now some people, based off of last year, kind of after last year, I should say, kind of starting to consider him the best safety in football. He actually could be. It's debatable, obviously, but that's pretty crazy. Only 24 years old. So I thought it was an easy choice. And maybe Quinnen Williams. I was very high on Quinnen Williams. I still am. Some people very disappointed. What he did on the field and maybe off the field as well. But in terms of the on the field stuff, relax. All right, this guy's gonna be a beast. So Quinnen Williams, definitely another option. It's just a kid too. He's just a kid right now. So another good option. Eagles, actually a tough one. A tough one to go with here. But I did go Carson Wentz. It is a little bit risky of me going Carson Wentz because of the injuries. But why is everyone so all over Carson Wentz? You see people on ESPN, wherever it is, Carson Wentz, they pick Carson Wentz over, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, all different types of guys. Last year, Carson Wentz going to win MVP. Carson, you hear that. And I wasn't really buying into that quite yet. And the reason those people are kind of doing that is because they see the talent. The crazy talent is in there. It's in there somewhere. We all see it. Everyone sees it. No one's debating that. So I think it's really going to, if as long as he's healthy, that's kind of the concern here, is really going to start breaking out. And like I've been saying with the other quarterbacks in this video, prime is at 30 to 35 range, it feels like. But maybe it's declining, but, maybe it's going down a little bit. Not declining. Declining is not really the right word, but maybe it's, because we see some of these quarterbacks balling out in, the 20s still. But for Carson Wentz, that prime is going to fit that kind of, in terms of the NFL history as a whole, combining it, the prime is, in the 30s there. That's definitely where it's going to be for Carson Wentz, so that is why I used him. Steelers, I went with T.J. Watt. Crazy that you can argue he's one of the better pass rushers in football already. But on top of that, he was a guy, for me at least, I didn't think he was going to be anything crazy right off the bat. I thought it was going to take 28 years old for him to be doing what he's doing. He's already doing it. Now he's at 25. Pretty crazy. So I thought it was a pretty obvious choice. Juju Smith-Schuster's pretty darn young as well. They got some other, Minka Fitzpatrick. Got some good young options, so that's good there for the Steelers. But got to go T.J. Watt here, the pass rushers. Seattle Seahawks, got to go DK Metcalf. This freak of a dude is only 22 years old and was pretty darn dominant in his rookie year, and every step of the way got better and better. About staying healthy, only 22 though. This guy's going to be an absolute beast when he's 27, 28 years old. So got to go DK Metcalf. Russell Wilson, in his 30s, so kind of tough not going him still, but kind of went with the youth here. 49ers, another pretty easy one. Nick Bosa's only 22, had one of the better. I don't think anybody's saying he's the best pass rusher in football, but not too far off, and at age 22, already looking like he's better than his brother, which at any given time it could be the opposite, but you get my point. Age 22, Nick Bosa. Stay healthy, a little bit of a minor prospect evaluation concern, coming to Ohio State, because only played that 3 games last year, but yeah, I think he's gonna be all right. I think he's gonna be all right there. Buccaneers, tough not going Chris Godwin, because this guy it's really tough not going Chris Godwin, as I'm even starting to mention him, because that guy just really broke out this year. Very, very impressive, and there's a lot more to come, and he's still pretty darn young. It's a receiver that can fit any system. If there's a system change, a team change, he can play in the slot, can play outside, so it's really tough not going Chris Godwin here. I went with Devin White, though, because he's only 22, and I think really after this year we could be talking about him, one of the best inside linebackers in all of football. freakish dude. Obviously, has the combination of strength, athleticism. So I did go Devin White, but it is. You're not wrong if you want to go Chris Godwin. The more I'm talking about Chris Godwin now, I want to go him. So I'm kind of bet you see that's a good situation to have here for the Buccaneers. So either one there, Devin White, Chris Godwin. Titans went with A.J. Brown, only 22 years old. He was my pick for Rookie of the Year last year. And they didn't really use him a whole bunch early on in the year, too, so he's still fresh, ready to go. Obviously, I know it's only a little bit of time there, but it's another one of those receivers that you can do anything with. You can put him anywhere. You throw him the screen pass, you throw him the deep ball, insane after the catch. It's a very easy plug-and-play, safe receiver, no matter the system, no matter the quarterback. Freakish dude, obviously. Talked about that. Only 22 years old, so this guy's just getting started. So I had to go with A.J. But a lot of good options for the Titans, though. A.J. Brown came from that last year draft class. They actually took him in the second round. They took Jeffrey Simmons in the first round. That guy was easily a top 10 talent, Jeffrey Simmons from Mississippi State. A guy that can play nose, can play D-tackle, could really play a 3-4 end if you wanted to as well. So it was tough not going Jeffrey Simmons. I guess you worry about the injury a little bit, but he came back earlier than expected, so that was impressive. I think Harold Landry is another good option. The two inside linebackers, Rashaan Evans, Jaylen Brown. The Titans got a lot of options here, but tough not going A.J. Brown after that rookie season. Redskins, I should the Washington name to be determined, actually is what I should say. It's going to take me time to get used to it. It's just been that's been the name for so long, obviously. It's what I'm used to. A lot of good options. And again, not using rookies, Chase Young would be the easy option. A lot of good options. Even if you don't believe in Haskins, that could be a solid option. Terry McLaurin, young receiver. I think it's another receiver that's going to fit any quarterback, any system. Montez Sweat is an ultimate upside guy. I didn't really expect him to do much right away. He actually, people are sleeping on him a little bit after that rookie year. He actually made some more noise than people expect. There are so many options, but I went with Daron Payne here. Even Jonathan Allen you can mention too. I went with Daron Payne. This guy is a top-tier nose tackle. There's a kind of a shortage on him too. Nose tackle in football, age 23. Age 23. That's kind of the so many guys you can throw in here for this team, which is a good thing for the future. But that is the reason I went with Payne. This guy, when he's 25 years old, could very well be the very best nose tackle in football. What the hell is he going to be doing how good is he going to be when he's 28? He's already stopping the run at a very, very high level, and he's adding that pass rush. That's kind of the bonus for the nose tackles, how you keep your career alive in today's NFL, and he's adding that. He's only 23 years old, so that was kind of the difference maker. But yeah, the upside of Montez Sweat, ridiculous upside. So you can go him as well. Terry McLaurin, tough to choose. That's a good situation to have, though. Then we'll take a look at the top 10 for this profile. Deserving of a long-term contract, and very talented that far down the line. I went with Lamar Jackson 1. He just won an MVP at 22, so it's pretty obvious, even though Deshaun Watson is right there with him. He's going to continue to improve, only age 24. I actually got Tremaine Edmonds at 3 at 22 years old. Pretty ridiculous, because we all knew, for me, I was in love with the idea of this prospect a few years ago. I was absolutely blown away, in love. This guy is going to be the best middle linebacker in football. When he's in the upper 20s, pushing 30, we see these types of guys lasting really long. And he already, after this year, I wouldn't be shocked. People might call me crazy. I wouldn't be shocked if he were talking about him, maybe the best middle linebacker in football at age 23 even. So that's why I'm going Tremaine Edmonds. The ultimate upside prospect. I still view him as a prospect. Myles Garrett, like I mentioned, a lot of tread left. Played it safe at Texas A&M. He didn't play a whole bunch last year, really. He played enough to be dominant, and already at age 24 with plenty of tread left on the tires, one of the better pass rushers in football, maybe the best after this year, so pretty crazy. Saquon Barkley, I talked about, the freakish tools compared to Adrian Peterson, who lasted so long, still going. Barkley could be that running back, only 23. And the difference is, AP actually had some injuries at Oklahoma. Barkley we're really not concerned about any major injuries too. So Barkley will last a long time. Jamal Adams, only 24, might end up on a different team, but it's a safety that is that good. He's already that much proven. You already can argue that he's the best in football, and he's not going to die off. He's not going to die off. If a team gets him and you don't want to play him at strong, okay, play him at free. If you want to play him opposite, if you want even neither of them, you want to play him at a linebacker, play him in the box. He's a safe player on any team. It's a plug and play guy. Darius Leonard, I talked about, a lot of players that weren't supposed to be this good. They're not supposed to be this good based on the college tape to the NFL tape, right? There's a lot of players like that, but Darius Leonard's a little different. Right off the bat, he was a whole new man, a whole new player, and that was just a couple years ago. He's only at age 24. Pretty scary what he's going to become. Nick Bosa, already one of the better pass rushers in football, only 22 years old. Maybe a minor injury, concern just based on the last year Ohio State. Maybe they're just playing it safe. 22 years old, though. Ridiculous. Sometimes pass rush prime is around 30. Dak Prescott, 26, but remember, quarterback prime, getting in your 30s there. He's already got the experience. Talk about the running back, talk about the pass rushers. You don't really want a ton of experience for those guys because they might wear down. Quarterbacks don't really wear down like that. So that's a great thing here for Dak Prescott. Kyler Murray, only 22 years old. 10 years is going to be 32. And that's right around quarterback prime. Probably would be a little higher on the list if there. But that's the thing, though. I was going to say if there's more systems out there that fit him because he needs that not specific, but only a certain amount of coaches that I think would make him be his best. He can still be good, but my argument against myself there is that the NFL is heading that way. So more and more guys will be found, and maybe Kingsbury could last. I think he's going to be a very solid coach. Unlike some people, I think some people base too much off Texas Tech's record, but recruiting system a little different, and then defense let them down, not his offense, obviously. So that's a different debate there anyways. Getting off track. But that's a top 10 in terms of fitting this profile, fitting this video. That was a long one. That was a good one, though. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please smash that like button. More videos on the way. Got all kinds of rankings. Follow that Twitter. Subscribe to the channel. That's going to do it. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.